Alright, so for today, you guys are going to prove parts of congruent triangles congruent. So hopefully you worked on the do now first. If you didn't do the do now, why don't you pause this video and work on the do now first. So CPCTC stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So no, you don't have to write this out. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. But you have to make sure you spell this correctly. CPCTC. If it is spelled wrong, you would lose points. Okay, so in this example, they're telling us SU is congruent to VT, and somehow we need to prove ST and UV are congruent. So the only way that we can do that is we have to prove the triangles are congruent first. So let's start with the given. By the way, if you guys want to pause this video and try this on your own, I'm pretty sure you can probably do it without me. So you can feel free to pause it. Okay, so right away, we probably all know we can use the reflexive property. I'm going to start there. Okay, so what else do we know? Part of the given, I probably should have added that in step 1, is that angle STU and angle VUT are right angles. That's part of the given because it was in the picture, so we can write that as step 1. Alright, so now that we know that those are right angles, what do you think would be the next step? We can say they're now congruent by the right angles congruence theorem. And I hope you realize where we're going with this, right? So before we start it, it's kind of hard to tell, but right away, but we most likely are going to be use HL because that's really all we know. So that means in order to use HL, we need to state that these are right triangles. Before we state that they're right triangles, we need to let them know that they are right angles, they're congruent. So why don't we now say that the triangle STU and triangle VUT are right triangles. Why do we know that? Because definition of a right triangle. So now we can now prove the triangles are congruent by HL. So now that the triangles are congruent, can we now say ST is congruent to UV? We can. And this is where CPCTC stands for, right? Now that they're congruent triangles, all corresponding sides and angles are also equal if they're congruent. And that's what CPCTC stands for. So here's what I would like you guys to do. I want you to try this one without me. Notice that this is parallel lines. They're parallel, and they're also telling you they're congruent. Okay, so why don't you pause this video and try this on your own, and then I'll come back and show you the answer key. Okay, hopefully you are not copying me and you actually tried this on your own. So your steps could be a little different than mine, but I used corresponding angles theorem, because these are parallel lines cut by a transversal, and then the triangles are congruent through ASA, and then I use CPCTC to show that these angles are congruent. Okay, so glue this foldable in, start your classwork. Your classwork is to be handed in before the bell, and then your homework tonight is Delta. Bye, guys.